Okay, so we're going to call the meeting to order officially at 5:03 and note that Miss Gherkin is unable to be in attendance today. We do not have any guests, so we will skip over the introductions. So we'll move to approval of the agenda. If you want to take a second to review the agenda, then we'll take a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A motion by Ms. Bowers. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Lane. All in favor of approving our agenda for today, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to the next item on our agenda, which is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. You have two sets of minutes. The first one is August 16th. So if you would take a second to review that, and then we'll have a motion and a second to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Bowers. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second by Ms. Russell. All in favor of approving the minutes from the August 16th meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to our next item on the agenda, which is the August 24th special called meeting minutes.
Can we talk about like what came from?
Well,
that?
yeah, I'll come up. Yeah, that's gonna come when we a little bit later.
Yeah,
Yes.
messenger minutes.
Okay, motion by Ms. Hobbs,
Second.
second by Ms. Lane. All in favor of approving our agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, moving on to the next item on our agenda, which is good news to report. So we had this, it's been a crazy month. It's been an awesome first month of school. It's hard to believe that we're already a week and a half away from fall break. So we had house meetings, we had map testing, we had our first Latino literacy night, which was super fun. We had our amazing book fair. Miss Lane put on a great fair and we made a lot of money for that. We had high attendance day. 12 of our 23 classes had perfect attendance on that day and earned extra recess. So I'm doing a lot of extra recess on Thursday. Teachers get extra planning during that time. So it's just going to be me partying outside with some kids. So that was the benefit of you get the kids get the recess and I get to play with them and teachers get some planning. So and I get a recess. Really, I get to be excited and I don't have to. So
That's great.
we had our grandparents breakfast. I don't have the exact number, but we had a ton of people here.
My husband's parents absolutely loved it.
We had our open house, which was very highly attended. We've received the ViewSonic boards that our PTA purchased. So those are here. We're just waiting to get them installed. They should be installed over fall break. We got our picnic tables in that we purchased. And we set them up on Friday. 4 of the 5 of them are set up out there. So I encourage you to look at them and enjoy them with everything.
Sign up for them yet or not?
There's a calendar out so people can sign up and do it and
That's great. Awesome. Enjoy that fall weather.
yeah, enjoy it. And it's gonna be great. So any other items to celebrate? Okay, we also had half of our second grade go on a field trip today. So, okay, we're gonna skip over the next item, which is public comment, and go to our school improvement planning report. So this will be our work over the next couple of months. We'll be working on the comprehensive school improvement plan. I'm gonna very quickly go over that process with everyone. So you have this PowerPoint here. I'm not gonna go over everything. You can skip over the first several slides. There's a law that's when you get to 703 KAR 5.225, that is the regulation that guides continuous improvement. So that we are required by statute, by regulation to make school improvement. So that's, if you want to know the exact law, feel free to read away. It's exhilarating. So it's our balanced approach. We are determining an as-is state and kind of our desired state. To do this, we're looking at our key core work processes, which I'll share more about those next month. We're looking at multiple data points. We're developing a plan, which is our CSIP, and then we monitor progress, evaluate effectiveness, and make changes. And we go back and do it again. And we just do this every year. So you can see here, this is that same kind of thing. All these items flow into creating our CSIP. So we look at culture and climate data. We took our TEL survey last year, which looks at that. We have our attendance data. We look at key core work processes. We look at observations. We look at the school report card. We look at our youth assessment data, progress monitor data, behavior data. All of that feeds into our comprehensive school improvement plan and the comprehensive district improvement plan. So we have to turn in our school improvement plan, and then the district in turn creates their district improvement plan. And so then we progress monitor, and then we work in PLCs in professional learning communities to kind of monitor that progress. So there are 4 phases of the continuous improvement process. So we are officially in both phase 1 and phase 4 at the same time. So phase 4 is the whole year from January 1st to December 31st. We evaluate the progress of our previous plan. So right now we're evaluating that progress of our plan from last year, and we're beginning to work on our plan for this year. So phase 1 includes the continuous improvement diagnostic, the executive summary, and the safety report. And just like everything in education, these items all have been the same for years, but they keep changing the order that they have to be done in. So this year, those first 3 are all due in phase 1. We'll be reviewing those today. In phase 2, we look at our needs assessment and our school assurances. In phase 3, that's where we actually fill out what our plan is. And then phase 4 is the monitor phase from there. And then the next several slides just go over those first 3 reports out of the phase 1. I'm going to skip over that and share them as we go through them. So if you go in your packet to the first page that has a C on it, and that will be our continuous improvement diagnostic for schools. It looks like this. It says phase 1 on it. So this first document is a required document by the state that I sign. And it just says what I just told you, that this is the 4 phases and when they are due. So I'm required to sign this and submit this. So you can see if you go to page 4 of 4 on there that I've already signed this. I signed it on September 14th. So this is done. So that's the first part. The second item that's not on here is our executive summary. That is due next Friday. I'm waiting to finish that because we get our Kentucky summative assessment data. We get our first glance at it this week. And so that has to be in the executive summary. Yeah. So I can't do that until I get the data. So, but we're supposed to get the office staff gets it tomorrow, and then it can go out to school staff in October.
Do we get calls for that and all before, or
No.
was it?
So, and in my opinion, Kentucky Summative Assessment data, it's going to be what it's going to be. We're treating it this year as a baseline year. It's a whole new system. So we're just going to, whatever it is, and we'll go forward from there. So that's our thought with that. So then the next reports, and so I will email you guys the executive summary once it's done. Council doesn't have to approve it. You guys just get to see it. The next one is the school safety report. This just details all the safety regulations. It's 11 questions, and I will tell you we've answered yes to every single one of them. So you don't have to read anything or know anything here. It's just we are following and doing everything that is required of us by law. So, see, I just blew through a bunch of pages. Any questions on our comprehensive school improvement plan process for right now? Okay, the next item, I do have this as an action item just for SBDM Council to approve the beginning of our strategic plan. So I did share this last month. Since then, we did send out we did a parent survey at the last PTA general membership meeting and sent out a survey as well to get feedback on this. Overwhelmingly, the feedback is all in agreement that this matches what they think Glendover should be doing. We can always go back and revise. We'll continue to relook at it. But so we'll just run through and talk through this, and then the council can vote to approve this or not vote to approve this if they want to. So we set 5 core values: celebrating and respecting differences, building a positive future, cultivating a cohesive and caring community, academic growth, and supporting emotional growth. And those aren't in any particular order. That's just the order we typed them. The vision, Glendover Elementary will be a school where we work together to create a global community that ignites a passion for learning and fosters each student's highest potential. Then you have the mission, which is the Glendover Elementary mission is to grow together as independent learners within a diverse community. And then you can see here, these are the items that were noted for kind of our portrait of a graduate. So if everybody wants to take a second just to review those, and then if we are ready and comfortable, we'll take a motion and a second or discussion to approve the new mission vision.
I'll approve it.
Okay, motion by Ms. Hobbs. There a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Hill. Okay, all in favor, all in favor of approving our new strategic plan, mission, vision, everything from there? Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Awesome. Okay, so the next item is kind of looking at data. So part of our council's role is to look at our student achievement data and use this to kind of determine every aspect of our school. So we'll be looking today at our MAP data from the fall. This is the first glance that anybody's getting at the whole school. So we'll kind of share this information out. So we'll start with math. The first chart here shows by percentile band where our students are performing. This S right here is spring of last year. So the spring of last year, 16% of our students were in this 1 to 20% range. In the fall, we were at 11% of our school. 20 to 1 to 40, 11 and 12, 41 to 60, 9 and 10, 61 to 80, 19 and 23, and 81 to 99 is 45 and to 44. So positive news, what I'm really excited to see, 67% of our kids are above the 60th percentile on math. Like that is super high. 50% is average. So if you're sitting 50th percentile, we're good. 41 to 60 is kind of the average range.
67% of our students are above
The 60th percentile. No, this is whole school. This is the whole school. So if you look at the next chart, this just goes into more detail about each individual grade level. So you kind of see where some different grades are. The one thing that I do always point out at this time of the year is our second grade scores. Students leaving first grade, that test is read to them, and students coming into second grade, they have to read it themselves. So typically we see a lot more kids there. So great news is we maintained in this bottom range and only went up by 6% in this 21 to 40 range. So like that is a really good sign for what we have.
I do think we still have the babies.
Yes,
Third and fourth graders.
yes.
And
And so,
second grade is
The
when
COVID smack.
they
Although I
reset.
have a hope.
yes,
Look, I have hope. Look.
It's-
First and second, that's.
yeah, first and second, I mean, it's,
Doesn't
we
matter.
have some really good, and so this chart here, which I don't know why it's funky up there, but this shows you the percentage below the 40th percentile. So these are kids that are considered at risk. They're slightly below average. If it is in red, it means that it was an increase from the spring of last year.
Okay.
If it's green, we reduce down that percentage. So you can see kindergarten, 18% of our kids are in that lower range. First grade, 14%, slightly up from last year. Second grade, 25%, slightly up from last year, but again, change in test. Awesome news, third grade, 36 down to 26%. That's great. Fourth grade, 34 to 35, that's pretty much a maintain.
Yeah.
We're right there. And that, as we'll see in a second, that fourth grade group has been historically at that kind of more elevated level of need. Fifth grade, 24 down to 22. And then as a school, we went from 27% in the spring down to 23%. So we're seeing in math really some great achievement there. So this graph here is just a really fancy way. It doesn't really show up well
Oh my
here.
God.
Okay,
Really?
okay,
Really?
just look at the straight lines. Okay, so the ones that go up and down. So let's just take, for example, this red line here. It's up, then it's down, then it's a up, then it's down. Like, so this is the percentage of students
Move your
below
window.
the
I can't even
40th
see what color
percentile.
it's what.
I gotta get this.
Oh, okay. So you're saying regardless of the ebb and flow, the trajectory is still that way?
Yes, so well, this is percent below the 40th percentile.
Yeah.
So we want this going down is our goal. We don't want it going up.
Okay.
Up is bad. So the red line has been progressively over time going up, but you can see recently, since the spring of 2021, we've been progressively getting lower. But because they hit that spike in spring of 21, it's trending upwards. So you can see this one's going up, the second grade one's going up, the fifth grade one's going up, the second grade one, no, third and second are going up, first grade's coming down. So, and then this little point is kindergarten. So, because they don't, they're taking one test. So here you are. So, but that's just kind of a way to look at more visual of everything. So some people like it visual.
And that's also considering skewed COVID
Mhm.
That's what I was
data
thinking.
of them taking the test at home.
Yes,
Parental health.
yes.
So
So this does look at a lot of different things and
I did that.
a
yes,
lot of people scored really well on math at home during COVID.
2 years
So
Yes.
if they had someone
So it's
sitting with
fine.
them feeding them. So that.
yes. This is, yeah, this is looking like, so we take into account like the fall test, or sorry, actually, no, none of those are even in here. Spring of 2020.
That is fall.
Yeah.
No, there's no spring 19. No, they're not in. there.
Spring 19, fall 20, winter 20, we took those two at home. Spring of, so this one should be fall of 2020.
But it still skews the data, so.
Yeah.
There's a gap.
You can see this one here where the third grade took a massive dive. That's that group. So I will fix that.
And so I feel like that's a good point. There's a lot of those first graders that like did kindergarten twice.
Uh-huh.
Or they did it
At
at
least the
home.
really old kindergartners, because the parents were like, let's put a little bit.
Yes.
So that first
Yeah.
grade class is really heavy with like older kids that have had a lot
Yes.
more.
Yes. So goal of this is just to look at those trends and start to make some common thoughts from here. One of my favorite things to look at is how do we compare to the national norms? So this column here shows what an average, a fourth grade student should be at a 200 in the fall. That's the national norm for this. And then you can see what our average score is when we take everybody into account. So great news is all 6 of our grade levels are achieving above the average when we look at that.
Is that just math?
That's in math. Yep. So the next thing just looks at strength areas and growth areas. Every year I look for some connection here between that we can say, yes, we're going to work on this and it's going to move us forward. And every year with math, there's no common trend. One grade level is great at one, and it really connects to what did I just teach? So the grades that just taught geometry did better at geometry. The grades that just taught number and
They
operations.
never tell you,
Yeah.
That was my thing. Is
they
like,
never tell
can you
you that
teach
the problems are distributed evenly either.
Mhm.
So you don't know how many geometry questions there were in relation to the number operations
Yeah.
questions.
That math
So you
test,
don't know if that's
I've been
really
taught
a
that,
strength or
Yeah.
did you just have 2
I
questions?
I remember very.
Yeah.
vividly being like, why do they score so poor in geometry? Because that's in 2 units.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So that's what the only time that I really take a ton of stock in this is like when it's like, okay, everybody's rocking geometry or everybody's bombing geometry. And then it's like, okay, how can we do something here? If we don't really see a common trend, it just means we're doing what we need to be doing. Okay, so next, same reports for reading. So I'll move a slightly faster here. You can see 1 to 20, 13 to 14, 21 to 40, 10 to 10, 41 to 60, 12 to 13, 61 to 80, 41 to 23, 81 to 91, 99, 41 to 40. So again, 63% of our kids here are in that high above average to well above average.
That's above the 60th.
above 60th, yes. Then you can see each grade level. Again, we see the bump up in second grade at that lowest end. This is much more normal for reading because of that force to read themselves. So
Also, many children, a lot of the children have a reader
mhm,
in math. Like
yes,
on the math test, they have a reader. The reading
Is that
test
the
has no
ELL?
accommodations.
anybody who has,
Special
Anybody-
education,
so anybody can
Many
have
of
a
them
reader
have
for
readers
math.
on the math, but obviously not on the reading.
Yeah.
Right, that would skew the data.
so when we look overall at our school, we do see a little more red here. First grade 17 down to 14, that's awesome. Second grade 17 up to 30, that's a totally normal bump. We typically see a big fall off in the winter because those kids just, they freak out when they have to read themselves. Third grade 27 to 28, pretty much stay the same. Fourth grade 32 to 35. And I will say, like, especially in our fourth grade group, we lose a significant number of students right now to the GTAP programs, which is our highest end students. So then it skews our data the other way because now we've got a higher percentage at that lower side of things. Fifth grade 20 down to 18. Overall, we're 23 to 24.
Where did gifted and talented students go?
They can go to Tate's Creek if they qualify into the Gifted and Talented Accelerated program. Mhm.
Yeah, we lost a lot.
And that's our goal. That's one of our major goals is like making Glendover a place where those kids want to stay.
Feel the need to say.
Yes, and we can get our instruction up to that level. And because my argument is if we're losing this many kids, we have space. Why don't you just give us a GTAP program and problem solved. You can still be gifted and talented here, but there's some kids are like that.
The portables, or
Uh-huh.
whatever they were.
Yes,
Interesting.
yes. Some kids go into an accelerated program.
Yes, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
they're not
Cottage.
they're cottages, learning cottages.
Cottage. It is a well, I mean, they were trailers. It was the late 90s. I mean, they weren't great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were bad. Yeah, they were bad. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Apartments we had during.
No.
Yeah. So again, you can see here, these are the trend lines. So fourth grades continue to increase, third grade's going up, second grade's going up. Fifth grade has kind of leveled out. They're maintaining, and first grade's dropping. And then kindergarten's a little dot hiding behind another little dot.
Do you want to see the same thing?
This is
as
going
trends
down.
going
We want down.
Okay.
If we're reducing that percent below the 40th percentile, we want them down,
Okay.
is
That
our
makes sense.
goal. And then here again is the comparison to national norms. So again, we are above the national norm at every single grade level. Hey, we're gonna take it. We are above.
A win's a win.
Are you not? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm just saying it's not red. Okay. You have to remember, the fourth graders were in first grade and never finished first grade. So
Uh-huh.
they,
And
like,
then had an entire, almost
then-
an entire year, second grade.
Just the
online.
literacy is
Yeah.
a hot mess. And then
Yeah.
the ones that were in kindergarten, that wasn't normal either. So it's just, it's gonna
Well,
take a
there's
while.
so
for
gonna
these
take some
babies
time.
To catch up.
Well, those foundational skills, I mean, they missed.
And the
And not that they-
socialization.
Well, not even,
Forget
that's like
that.
a completely.
That's a whole nother
That's
issue.
just the academic skills that they
Mhm.
miss. And even though you did it online, there's something about being one-on-one in the
Yeah.
classroom. It's just.
And then
totally
there are
different.
children who have more advantages. They have
Yep.
parents who are educated. They were able to create a different
Parents
learning
are going to
setting.
work and
And
parents are working while they
I
were
think it
working.
just widened the gap
Yep.
between, it's very, very evident, like.
And then when we look at strength areas and growth areas for reading, it is a little more clear cut here, a little bit more. K&1 does much better at vocabulary acquisition. They're able to figure out words. Second through fifth do better at informational text, surprisingly. I mean, so just fourth grade, they were all the exact same. They all had the same score. Literature, informational, vocab, all were the exact same. So
The vocabulary for K1, if it's a context, it's probably more because they're reading. it.
mhm. And yeah,
That is
Right.
interesting. This is really such a switch. I mean, because for second and third, remember in the past when we didn't used to read a lot of informational, It was the other way
Uh-huh.
around.
They like the
Now
literature, they were
it's
better.
yes.
Mhm.
Now
Well, it's
just
supposed to be
completely-
50-50 now,
It's
and that's
supposed
the
to
other
be,
thing. Are
but-
the passages 50-50? I don't
Yeah.
think so. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if the test is supposed to be 50-50 anymore or not.
Yeah.
don't know.
So,
Definitely gives us so much information.
yep. So the goal is that we will be using this as just one data piece to look kind of collectively across all these different assessments to see how we're doing there. So that is the map data. The next item, I'm not going to go over this. I'm just showing you that if you want to dig in and really have a lot of fun or go crazy with anything, you're welcome to go through. This is our data studio. So this is, you can go in and look at map assessments and you can kind of create any report you want to create. You can look at grade, ethnicity, gender. You can see which of the boys that are Hispanic, how they performed comparatively. You can look at anything you want here. So there's this,
On
so
the map.
well, there's, so that, yeah,
On the map.
this is map. And then if you like charts, there's graphs here. If you like tables, there's tables here. So there's map. Then you have, this is map again. There's also the state assessment. This just has the data, doesn't have any data in it because we don't have state assessment results yet. NSGR, which is our next steps in guided reading assessment. This shows you what that looks like. This shows you the average score. Now I will say you have to do some mental work here because in order to make a graph, you can't make NSGR is done by letters. So in order to make a graph, it has to be numeric. So you have to transfer the letter to a number. And so to get to this, you have to go back to a number. So you would look at this and say, okay, third grade is averaging a 13.77. 13 correlates to an M, which is an end of second grade score. Pretty close to where they're at. So you got to kind of do some math from there. So this is just a resource if anybody wants to look at it. This is just our way to kind of dig in and look through some different things. It is on the agenda, but I will also link, I'm going to put it on the school webpage so that anybody can look through
But
and
you
see.
can't do that by teacher and kid. and-
You can't go by kid, but you can look by teacher. You can see kind of how teachers compare, but you can't look by kid. So there's no identifiable information about an individual student in there.
Got it.
So
But there is by teacher.
you can run it by teacher. Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't
I don't
like
like
that at
that
all.
either.
So,
Should be grade level, but it's just one.
but okay. So moving into our next items, which are budget reports, you have your Munis report. Let's see. So this just shows kind of where our money's being spent. I'm trying to remember, we do have a negative area here in preschool. Not sure, this is a new area. We've never had this area before, so I'm not worried. It's all our preschool staff salaries and apparently they're not getting paid their money. I don't know. So the district will put that money in. I'm not worried there. Everything else is
Don't take my person.
everything else is in a good standpoint. The other negative we have in here is on page 6 and 7. And that's also in preschool. They really don't like to have preschool money. It's not you. It's the district is holding the money because the district makes interest on the money sitting in their pot. And if they put it in our pot, they stop making as much interest. So they don't put it in our pot until they have to.
So can you explain how our budget got messed up from last time?
Yeah.
So I'll go over that here. Let's run through this and then we'll run through
Okay.
and talk through that. So, but then, so you can see everything else looks positive here with everything. So with our budget, that's everything else positive. So with our budget, so what happened with the staffing budget is with our workbook, they had miscalculated and not charged us for the full person. They'd only put 0.6 of a person on the book. And so when they found that and had to put the other 0.4, which is a person we had here, it dropped our total,
Who is they? Like
the district. So somebody at the
So they could
district,
just, like,
Should a person be point
swallow their
they
loss?
can't. I mean, they
Okay.
can, but
They
they,
can.
we didn't do that. We had planned for them to be a 1.0
Okay.
and they had just not put the correct thing in the correct column.
So
So,
the district didn't put the correct thing in the correct column.
yes. And so,
And that
but
doesn't get double checked anywhere from the school.
hey, well, I'm going to do a better job rechecking it again this year.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
but yeah,
That's really disappointing.
yeah. So yeah.
Miss Lane, did you get your Lego wall?
Not yet. I mean, it's ordered, but you know, it takes the wheel. for
Yeah.
sure.
The wheel of progress
We'll
moves
make
slow,
sure
you
that everyone
say.
double checks that. Yeah, when you get to your
Yeah.
wall.
So, and then the next item is our school activity funds. Remember, this is money raised by students for students or by staff for staff. So we have $65,000 here. They don't like to let us touch it very much. So.
Why don't they want you to spend money?
They do, but they just make it difficult and you can only spend certain categories on certain things and it's much more convoluted in school activity fund than in the school
Anywhere
budget.
else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any
So this
question?
way do we have to sweep money from here over to
Yes.
the other account? Is that how that
So like
works?
when you
Okay.
spend money from library,
You
it
have to
comes,
swap over to
mhm.
my munis, or
Yeah.
whatever that.
So yeah, it comes like you would use the library funds here. And then that pushes over into that, or book fair funds push over into the book fair funds, which on the budget report is the district activity funds on page 14.
And that's why we did the thing, so
Mhm.
that way we can just.
We can just move things around. Yes. Okay. Any more questions on budgets? Okay. So the next item is we're gonna move into our bylaw or policy review. So you can see the first item is the bylaws. We'll run through those changes.
We're doing committee reports.
Nope, sorry, skipped over committee reports. No committee
Coming back
reports.
to it, or just-
Nope, no committee reports. Thank you. Okay, so bylaw changes. So these were all ones, nothing's new on here since the last time we talked. So if everybody wants to take a second and review those. And if you have any other ones, they're either the lighter color on yours or crossed out.
You have a bylaw on bylaws?
It's
Just bylaws?
they're just bylaws.
Oh, bylaws and bylaws. I used to bylaw. I was like, what?
I don't know what I said.
Okay.
So I will be updating the mission statement to reflect our new one. So that is a change that's gonna happen today, based on our. Oh no, that's our council mission statement. Never mind. Not the school.
Leaving this website listed here under adopting policy.
Yes, that was a requested addition after our last meeting, was to add what the KDE items were. Required policies.
Make a motion to.
Okay.
approve whatever.
A motion by Ms. Bowers to approve.
Whatever we need to do.
Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Russell. Any question or discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving our bylaws, please say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, so our next item for review is the technology use policy. The only change in this policy is we said in a Fayette County Public School and kept on file until the student leaves the district. Those were the only changes
Yeah.
to this document.
Maybe I should approve that.
Okay, motion by Ms. Hobbs,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Hill. All in favor of approving our technology use policy, please say aye.
I-
All right, any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. The next item is our discipline policy. This just changed the main part about the code of conduct being online and not being sent home by hand. And then also, I changed some formatting. Yeah. Those are the only changes.
Right.
So,
Do we have any PBIS data that we ever go over?
Yeah, we'll be going over that next month.
Okay. Positive behavior in the system, just so behavior system for the kids.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering about that, since I haven't seen it in the
Yeah.
PBIS data.
Yeah, so we'll share that once a quarter.
Great.
So as we go through that.
the one on discipline,
Mhm.
will it be also in Spanish as well as English? If it's posted
The code of
online?
conduct, yes, it's
Yeah.
Spanish,
Okay.
it's Nepali, they've got it translated and
Always.
everything. And parents do have a right to request a print version. So there's an opportunity for, if you want a print version, the district will provide one for you. But the digital version, they update it as new changes, because Katie likes to change things. So,
See what people get to read it.
mhm.
So are you all on you guys aren't on like a chart system or anything, it is, what is the main behavior system?
Class Dojo,
Doesn't say dojo.
Dojo?
yes.
And those are just like whatever the teacher's discretion
Mhm,
is.
yes.
There's not like set for each grade level or anything. like
No, we
that?
let
Okay.
them kind of function within we set general parameters, positive points, negative points, and the expectation to use it. But it's
And
more,
how many dojo, like red dojos, would you get like a office referral or something like that?
there's not a specific number. We look at any student who's below 85% for the
Okay.
whole week is kind of what we're looking at as our benchmark to say, you're a student that's may need support.
Of course, yeah,
The office referral system is separate from dojo.
okay, that's what I was gonna say, so you have like a different referral system
Yes.
for extreme behavior.
Mhm.
So-
But we're monitoring Dojo to see, can we get in front of some of
Yes,
these
so like
issues?
baseline,
Mhm.
got it, and then extreme behaviors are already kind of
Yes.
on a different system.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll share that data next month.
Okay.
Okay, motion by Ms. Hobbs. Is there a second? second by Ms. Lane. All in favor of approving our discipline policy, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, awesome. So the next item we're going into are just some other policies to review this month. We have 4 of them. We'll go through these pretty quickly. The first one is the alignment with state standards policy. We adopted this last year because it's a required policy. This policy pretty much just says we're going to do a school improvement plan as required by the state law. So does anybody else see any revisions they would like to make for this one?
It's a short policy.
Okay, because if we don't have any revisions, we don't have to come back. It goes away till next year. Okay. So no changes, so that one's gone. The next item is the committee's policy. Did make a few tweaks here just to clarify some things. We adopted this in April. I added that the MTSS team will function under the guidance of the curriculum committee. MTSS stands for multi-tiered systems and supports. And then under climate, we already had the PBIS team that functions under the guidance of the committee, but we also added the behavioral emotional support team, that's looking at those tier 2 and tier 3 kids who may need support. So PBIS is tier 1, whole school. Best is tier 2 and tier 3. So
And does that work more closely with the school mental health?
yes, they're all on that team.
Got it.
And then I added an S somewhere. Yeah, I put an S there. Any other recommendations for this policy? Okay, this is just first read.
To do something.
Okay, so we will move on. If you have any revisions, you can bring them next month. Okay, 2 more. The next one is instructional practices. This one just outlines some of the instructional practices that our school will follow. I did not see anything that needed to be changed here. Unless somebody has one. Move on to our next policy, which is the wellness policy. I did not see any changes to this one. We did make changes last year.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So how much time do they have with recess a day?
20 minutes.
Per day, plus how long is gym?
Gym is 55 minutes every 5 days.
Okay, a week, because the standard is what, like 150 a week that they have
Mhm.
to have
Yes.
minimally? So what I learned in my SBDM 101 class is that you can max out at 30 minutes a day. Would that be wiser in like a kindergarten, first grade environment to help with
15
like,
minutes.
to break it up? to
Cur-
help cognitive learning and like retaining of information?
Currently, our kindergarten does have 2 recesses right now for the start of the year, and then they
Like
go
2
2 outdoor
10-minute?
recess. No, they're right now 2 20-minute recesses.
Oh, okay.
But that only is through the first week of October.
Okay.
And then we run up against instructional minutes.
Okay.
And so we can't go over, Fayette County's regulation is we are not allowed to exceed 20 minutes of recess a day.
How do all the other schools do it?
I don't know.
Can I find out and
Sure.
get back to you?
Sure.
All right, I will.
So
Or like interim breaks during
We
the
live.
day?
they have frequent movement breaks throughout the day and
Okay.
they can,
Okay.
I just
do
know
those
all
things.
schools will do
Oh, okay.
15-minute
Okay.
kindergarten outside recess, and I feel like that is very developmentally appropriate.
Just the free, like the creative like aspect of
I
it.
mean, my kid doesn't need a lot of movement, but others do. Another thing that I have questions about, and I know that we're not supposed to do this now, is can we set a like a temperature or a climate type of limit when it comes to outdoor recess? Because I feel like a lot of teachers are like, it's too cold. And I'm like, no, put the hats and jackets on, let's go. I just know that's what like preschools do and stuff, and I feel like
We can't set a mandate that you have to go out. There is a district mandate that 32 and below, you are not allowed to go out.
But you can't be like, you have to go outside.
Right. We can't, as an SBDM council, we can't say you have to go outside. So,
That's all. That was my question.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, the 32 degrees is a little like.
Oh, I wouldn't go out at 32. I was thinking like 42. I wasn't like.
No, I'll go out. I mean, like, I'll be
We
like.
go out
"That's
under
close."
convention.
I mean,
We go out.
and
under.
32 is not because they're worried about kids being cold. They're worried, what the fear is the mulch freezes at 32 degrees. And if you fall,
Hazard.
it loses. It's a risk management aspect.
I'm
They
not
don't care
asking
that they're
teachers to
cold.
go out
They just
by
don't find out.
any means. I guess I just know that there are some people like
Yeah.
that I taught with that were like, it's too cold. I'm like, it's 50 degrees.
Yes.
It's windy, but don't get out there. And I just am like,
I don't think that's an issue.
is that an issue?
No, I
Mhm.
don't think so.
That makes me feel
I
bad.
don't know. We go outside.
I would rather stab my eyes out than have indoor recess.
Oh, praise God. Me too.
So-
Yeah. And I think that's how most people feel is,
Yeah.
Okay, good. I
I
mean,
would
that's
say
my history.
Most
is
of us
that-
have blankets in our, I
I mean, I
always
have a blanket, I have a
Yeah.
recess coat that's here.
Okay, good.
I have boots
That's
that
all I
are
needed.
here.
I'm not asking y'all to go out.
Yeah.
Bullets at below or anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
People not to go.
And
Yes.
I always work in
Watching
a,
the time.
I always work in a
32
let's freeze
Yeah.
to death day. So everybody's like, oh, I do need my jacket.
Okay, so Fayette County says how many instructional minutes you have to have?
we cannot exceed 20 minutes of recess because of instructional minutes. I'd have to go back and recalculate the official,
How are you doing it now?
we're
They're doing 20. They're just maxing out
faking
at 20.
the
They're
thing.
teaching outside. They're
Yes.
learning
Doing an
about
outdoor
instructional.
classroom.
Okay, I'm all for living in the nature, y'all. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yes.
Science.
Okay, so
Science.
we don't know the instructional.
I'd have to go back and just count up the,
Email me that,
the exact
and I will make
requirement.
it.
Yeah.
I'll
They're
figure
probably
this
doing SEL outside. That would be.
Yeah,
Very
and
good.
because, yeah, it comes down to what happened is several years ago, even before I started teaching, Fayette County got audited. And they found that they were not meeting and they had to extend the school day for the remainder of the year. Like, they're so severe that even looking at, you can't write in schedules bathroom breaks. Like that,
out. I remember that.
that can't be written out. Like, so I can't put in a master schedule bathroom because then you're losing instructional
We need
minutes.
more
You know,
days
listen
than
to
any
class
other
with a little
district in
bit
this
of
state.
that.
How are we not meeting minutes? And can I tell you, we've never gone back to,
Because they're
when we went back, we
afraid
never went back.
that if we got, if we were to get, what I believe is if we were to get audited at some point, they can say, we have more
More
minutes,
than enough.
so we can take like, if they were to come on a day that we had extra recess, technically,
Who's
that's
they?
in the state. If the state were to show up and do an audit,
Who did that?
KDE,
Maybe. Got it.
so,
I'm gonna look all this up.
yes,
I'll
so.
figure it out.
It's a hard thing. We have a little more flexibility in kindergarten because kindergarten is not compulsory education until you turn 6
Got it.
in the state of Kentucky. So there's especially at the beginning of the year, we have a little more flexibility because most of our kids aren't 6
Of course.
to start the year. So that's a way that a lot of schools get away with it in kindergarten.
I don't know any school that has 2 recesses for anything above kindergarten.
Right.
But most that I know are all 15-minute outdoor Ks.
Yeah.
And I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah.
For
There's
developing
research that like
purposes.
backs up all of that.
Yes.
And so that, would
Okay.
yeah.
So,
But that
There's
is
also
outside of
research
this
that says
realm.
as an ESL student takes 7 years to master the English language.
yeah,
Yet we test them in 1.
What?
That's different than.
and we do it in the policy. It does say that we should avoid 40 more than 40 minutes of sedentary activity. Like, they should be doing something
Well, no teacher.
along those
that long.
lines.
Well, right. Well, that's not fair.
Because I hit about
You know what I
15
mean?
minutes and I'm ready to get up.
I'm right.
So
We're at 52 minutes.
we're at 52 minutes. So if
At
you,
8 seconds.
so any other, do we think we need to revise this? Are we comfortable with this? Just kind of going off into the ether for another year? Okay. So if we need to bring it back up, like if we want to make a revision to it, we can always just shoot me an email and say, hey, I want to talk about the wellness policy, and we can pull it back out.
So
So,
we could potentially talk about the 2 15-minute recesses for next.
Mhm.
Got it.
Trust me, we've tried to work on that before.
Yeah.
Even Mr. V got here and
Try
we're not
again,
we're not getting
say.
anywhere.
yeah, it's awful. So,
Who I need to bull, Miss A. Just tell me. I will answer to anybody.
So next month, the committee policy will come up for an action item to approve. So so moving into new business, no old business. So new business, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. This is the enrollment report. This just shows you that as of Friday, we had 431 students. Our largest grade is second grade with 87 students. And our smallest grades are kindergarten and fourth grade with 64. And I will tell you, kindergarten keeps losing kids. We keep that. We've got 4 more on the docket within the next month. They're supposed to go a lot of different places there. Some are moving out of state. Some are moving. They are moving across town because the Rivers raised their rent and they can't afford to sign another lease. Like a lot of places that
Yeah, the Rivers raised their rent, but they didn't do anything to renovate it. It's all the
we have
same.
64
I missed a road there.
Uh-huh.
Across the river, I was like.
right now. We're averaging
I didn't tell you that. I
16
was like, take
in a
it.
kindergarten class.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're talking about.
Excuse me. So
What a really great opportunity to make huge progress with these small
yeah,
classes.
and that's what I'm saying. This is action research on do small
It
class
really-
sizes really work?
I've taught 16 in a class and it was amazing. I mean, you're gonna make big gains this way.
Yep.
You really are.
Okay, the next item is just kind of a share attendance update. So you don't have this chart. I did copy it for you, but this just shows you where you don't have the table.
Good.
Our goal is to be at 95%. Anything in red is bad. So the second week of school where we had no school Friday, bad week. The Labor Day week, kind of bad week. Kindergarten and first grade,
What's
struggling.
considered bad? Like, what
Anything
percent
below
of-
95.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then what you have in your packet is just this chart that shows kind of where we're at. The big dark line is our overall line. So overall, we're staying above. So it's a lot better than last year. We're at bus cancellations every 5 minutes.
That's
'Cause
true.
That was,
That was, I'm sure,
And little
very
children should
stressful.
stay home when they are sick.
yes.
So I'm sorry if that chart you just showed was red and came one, but
Yep.
if they're sick, they should stay home. And they're all
There's
coughing
takes-
right now.
takes
so-
it up.
Oh my
They all
God.
sound
Yeah.
like they got two
They're all
years.
on one day.
Okay, so the next item on our agenda is just a staffing and hiring update. I am happy to announce that Kim Steintorf will be filling our position as special education paraeducator, filling the vacancy that we had there. So she is taking over that role. That does, however, leave us with a vacancy in the permanent classified staff role. So if you know anybody who wants
Guy
to
who was
sub,
here today,
we're
he
talking to
was
him
actually
tomorrow.
Really good.
Yes.
Like he was, I don't even know this is appropriate, but he was really good.
He's
Like-
being talked to tomorrow
Yeah,
if he's
okay.
interested in that.
Let's get rid of it.
from
And for
that.
me, this is
Sweet.
someone is
Uh-huh.
impossible.
So we're
He was good.
trying,
He came in, he did his work, he asked questions, he was helpful.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's a
we,
big deal.
yeah. So we're trying to find, we need somebody in this permanent classified sub position. But Ms. Steintorf, she was our permanent sub. She was previously a kindergarten para. She's doing great with the group of students that she's working with. And so we're excited to have her joining us official tomorrow. For custodian, I'm also happy to announce that I recommended a candidate named Irfan Demiri. He was a sub here several years ago.
You remember? They texted me and I was like, I have no idea.
I do remember. him.
So,
I don't remember the name.
So he will be joining us. I put in the recommendation right before our meeting today, so I'm just waiting to see how fast that turnaround is. But hopefully we will be back to full staff on custodial staff. With all of that, we're going to be looking at doing a flip-flop by month by staff so that it's one custodian does this half of the building in October and then they do this half of the building in November, so that if our candidate people are not to the same level, everybody's getting the opportunity to experience positive, negative, things like that. So,
I gotcha.
So the next item is our administrative assistant. We are very, very sad to announce that Miss Cretoni will be leaving us.
Stolen.
She was stolen to a position that is giving her double the money at the
They
district.
can't even get our money straight. Can she get our money
So
straight?
she does an amazing job. Like, so
Can't wait for her to get in that
I-
position.
I-
We'll be in this other part.
yeah,
She's
so
not doing budget stuff.
she's not doing budget things. So she's gonna be phenomenal.
It's like a diversity
Outreach.
outreach.
She's
from
gonna be
our
amazing at it.
community.
Yes.
Stinks.
So we're super sad to lose her. So we are doing interviews tomorrow. I have 5 candidates coming in tomorrow. One of which is currently employed here. So if anybody is available to do interviews tomorrow at 3 o'clock, it's currently just me. So if you want to sit in on interviews tomorrow from 3 to 4 or 3 to 5, I would love to have a friend. So
I'll see if they can get jobs. I'd love to.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a very important role. And they do not pay this person or any of our office staff enough money, any of our classified staff enough money, but that's
I
neither
bring
here
my
nor there.
children with iPads and
Totally
they're-
fine.
Okay, well,
Yep.
here.
Yep, they can
If
chill
they're
and
bad, then, oh,
And-
You said one person is currently employed here. So if we hired that person, we'd have an opening.
so that's
Are you
what,
asking people
Oh, but
in the
look at his
interview
face,
if they're willing to do
Yes.
one or the other?
so yes,
I'm like, so you don't have to re.
yes, we are looking, if we were to go with the person, then we are going to be asking if there's a vacancy in this position, would you be interested in being considered for this position?
Yeah. Put me
So,
down. I'll definitely do
Okay,
that tomorrow.
awesome. So it's,
Thank you.
we have 5 really good candidates. So I did request bilingual preferred. No one who applied is bilingual. So that it makes things a little more difficult, but I mean, we have to, and if we don't want to go with this group, we can just keep
We'll find somebody.
rolling with it. And I'm going to, if we don't find somebody, I will be pushing back against the district and saying, you can't take our person until we have a candidate in place, because it's not fair to
You
leave
need to
us.
Pay them what you're gonna pay them.
Yes, so that's the push I'm
They pay them
making.
the salary to stay here.
Like at least for the time being, especially since it's going to a district position, I don't believe that they should be taking,
No, because you wouldn't take them to another school
Right.
mid-year.
like I have to get approval. It is a promotion, so I don't have a ton of fight. I'm very excited for her. It's a great
No,
opportunity.
as all of us
and
are, it's just we would be
it's
so sad
heartbreaking.
without her, and she's so good. and
Yeah. So that's where we stand with that. So
Reliable and prompt.
I know.
hopefully we will be fully staffed sometime this year.
One day.
Before we have to start hiring for next year. Okay,
That's not gonna be a problem. so.
yeah, so,
Sorry.
The revolving
Yeah.
door.
Syndrome is happening everywhere.
and it is not just here.
It's reality.
Like I got an
It's
email
the
from a
writing's on the
principal,
wall.
Southern Elementary's principal sent an email today. They're looking for 4 people. Like it's
Oh,
just,
wow.
it is for everything from a certified teacher to classified to custodian to like, this is everything and everyone.
I mean, if you
And-
go anywhere, it's like.
Yeah, there's help one and help
Help
Mhm.
one and help one and the
So-
staff is-
So yes, so I'm really hopeful. This is at least a more sought after position, the administrative assistant one. So that's why we have, but even that, 5 years ago, there would have been 40 to 50 applicants and I got 7 for this position. So it's so hard to find anybody. So, okay, so the next item here is our Title I and ESS spending plan. So last month we talked about having this extra money and kind of how do we want to spend it. We decided we wanted to go with stuff. So if you go to the very end, you will see the administrative proposal. When I printed this, what's in your packet, when I printed that, we were under the assumption that we still had enough money to cover everything on this list. Since that time, they've recalculated our budgets again, and
What the heck?
it has dropped down. So now, well, just wait. So we have $10,000 here to spend. Now, the district just came and told me that we have $55,000 in ESSER money that we didn't, so they found more money there. So we could fund some of this other stuff with ESSER funds once I get that all worked out, because I'm fighting.
It's like Gringotts there.
It's-
They're
it's-
just like a pit of, like dragons and money.
The ESSER money has thrown this district into a full tailspin because nobody can figure out
Ring a bell.
what the money is and what's actual money and what's average. And so things just keep changing. So I feel.
But the thing is, do we trust that that's really there?
This
Or
money
we
has
just
to be
spend it
spent.
immediately
I'm spending,
first
like,
time?
I want to spend this tomorrow. So that's what I'm asking us to approve this money so that I can spend this tomorrow. So this is my
They're not gonna make
proposal.
you pay back after you
Nope, nope.
Yeah.
Like,
Do we
I
have that in
I
blood?
pulled that money from this budget report, which is supposed to be the Bible. And if they've not done it, then that's on them. So what I'm proposing is that we purchase vocabulary. That's probably the number one request I get from
Please,
teachers.
Please, I've stolen someone's password for
Is
quite some
for
time.
vocabulary. It is exceedingly expensive. So it's
Like, you're talking
$3,100
about
for
someone
that.
named Martin.
Spanish has requested a larger carpet for their room at $500. We could only afford one of these two kits. So I prioritize the nonfiction kit now, and then we can get the fiction kit with the ESSER money. So that's kind of my mindset here. This intervention booster kit just provides additional resources for our intervention program. And then reading A to Z, that's people keep emailing about reading A to Z. I didn't prioritize RAS kids right now because right now first grade was the only one who asked for it, and you guys have a license. So I think we can afford to we will do RAS kids and got the other thing through ESSER. So that's my proposal for us to spend, and that will spend us out to like nothing. And so that will get all of those money spent before the district makes it disappear again.
And now you know why I spend my money.
Yes.
immediately.
So looking at that, does anybody have any questions, discussion, or do we have a motion to approve those items so I can order them?
Approved.
Okay, motion by Ms. Lane, second by Ms. A. All in favor of approving those 5 items, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
And
any
nothing's
opposed?
consumable, so it's really like.
Yeah. Motion carries. Yeah, so nothing's consumable. Vocabulary would only be for this year. But I may be able to work ESSER to get it for another year.
What
'Cause
is
it's-
vocabulary?
They are videos, rap videos about content. So it's,
Really, really good. Like, I
So-
can-
Off the flow. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's-
and to put it in perspective, it used to be, when I first got it, it was $20 for a year. And it's now $3,100
And it
for a
used to be
year.
like,
It's quite the
like,
markup.
not even colored and like, they've really like.
Yes.
They've really upped their game. It's really, it's
really-
good quality.
Yes. Okay, get near the finish. I can see it. The light is clear.
Stealing Someone's password, you could actually send it to the children.
I think it's Scott's password.
Will you stop saying that? Hypothetically.
Okay.
Steal it, they posted it online, it's public information.
So the next item is the school profile report. This is a Kentucky Department of Education requirement and a state regulation that we have to do this item, except for I have no control over this. So it's just pulled from Infinite Campus and things like that.
Is this new?
No, it's been there.
Yeah.
It's a part of the part of the school report card.
So
We-
we'll look at when they're trying to figure out what's close to their kids too.
So it has to be assigned.
You're better off reading it, yeah.
The council has to approve it. We have no control over it because either, like, it's just based on Infinite Campus data. That I don't input anything into this other than I go through and check, does this look right?
So then make a motion.
So we will need to approve. So take 10 seconds, flip through it. Make sure you don't see anything extremely crazy that says everything. And a lot of things are blank because data is not reported. Like there's
This is
not,
dumb.
but I'm required by state regulation to have you review it. So when we are ready, we'll take a motion in a second. Motion by Ms.
Do we have to
Hobbs.
sign it, or
We
is it
have to
just-
sign it. I'm gonna pass around a paper that you have to
Oh.
sign. Second by Ms. Lane.
Doesn't matter what color.
Doesn't matter what color. All in favor of approving our school profile report, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Awesome. So that is the school profile report. I have to upload that to our staff SBDM portal for the whole world to see.
But
So,
does it need to be on the, you want to send it to me? I'll put it on the.
nope, doesn't have to be on the
Doesn't have to be
webpage.
on the webpage.
District handles all that. I just have to put it in the portal and say council reviewed and council signed.
All right.
So, okay,
We'll see when they turn back.
I don't sign, do I?
no, you don't have to sign.
Look at some schools, it
Sorry, I
tells
wasn't
you
paying
this
attention.
data is like 2 years old
Uh-huh.
or something, and it's still there, and how's that
Yep.
accurate?
It's
not
it's not, and it's not. So,
at all.
okay, the next 5 items here are field trip requests. I've signed these this afternoon to approve all of these. They are all local field trips right now. So council does not have to approve them. I'm just providing you with information.
You can say that all, the Great Barrington Field Trips at some point.
Everybody will take a field trip, yes. So
That's great to take part.
second grade's going to McConnell Springs, second grade's
This
going to the
is
Lexington Children's
funded
Theater.
Love me some
Second grade's going to Safety City.
Good.
Safety
experience for
City
them.
is still around?
Safety
That's
City's
amazing.
around. Kindergarten's going to Evans Orchard, and 5th grade is going to Biztown.
What is Biztown?
Biztown is with Junior Achievement, and it is a town.
It's a big old thing.
So you elect somebody as the mayor, and you have a business and you run the business, and somebody's the runner, and you have the checks.
That's
It's expensive.
It's a big deal.
It's a big
Yeah.
deal.
Biztown and Safety City, I feel like are the most popular field trips. They're just
Yeah.
very
Oh, well,
well known.
Now, Safety City it's still funded. by
Safe-
LFUCC.
Safety City's free with the exception, we just have to pay for the bus. PTA does allocate $800 per grade for field
So it's
trips.
a big- it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So first grade's figuring it out.
Springfield trip group.
Third grade is working on a trip. They're trying to make it possible to go to the Louisville Zoo, but you have to take outside charter buses, and it would be $40 to $50 per kid. So
We did
they're
it for
looking at,
fundraise, and it went so smoothly.
Yeah.
I can talk to them. I mean,
Yeah.
we did fundraising, and it was like literally easy.
so,
And it ended up being, I think, free.
yeah. So that's what they're working through before they do the request, is how do they fund it
And Dick's Ring.
and everything. So,
Jan looks like me.
okay.
For a former student.
So for next month, there's no items that you need to review. You don't have to do any work. Next month, we'll be really digging into kind of CSIP and looking at data and looking at Kentucky summative data and blah, 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 doing all that fun stuff. We'll have PBIS data and everything from there. So we are now at item 10, which is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Ms. A, second by Ms. Russell. All in favor of adjourning our meeting at 6:10, please say aye.
Hi.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you so much if you're at home.